Hi, my name is Tammy Clifton and I am an elementary special education teacher. I just graduated December of last year, so I am not even got 1 year in yet, but I'm getting there. So I'm actually standing outside my classroom right now, and I will be showing you a little bit of my classroom, and then we'll discuss my classroom management plan. And there's some of my children's names on the walls, so I will be trying to dodge some of those areas. Everything in my room has eucalyptus decorations. So here we go. Okay, so here is my door, and it's a very welcoming door. Everyone is welcome here. To my right, I have a birthday wall, and so there's names on that one. So when you come in, I do have my mantra right there and my classroom rules. So the kids are very well aware of where my classroom rules are. We do go over them. I do positive feedback and reinforce a lot of that with my students. Let's see here. Okay, so I have one center right here, and I have a board and a little desk area over there. And there's my tent area. This is my quiet reading center. And the students, when they are in here, and they have, say, like a 30-minute reading time, and they get done in like 15-20 minutes, then that is like a reward for them, that they get to pick a book and go in the tent and get to read. It's very, very nice. Sometimes I like to go just crawl in the tent as well. And then we have another center right here, and that's usually my math center. And then I have my desk area right here. So again, it's a very warm and inviting room. And so as I come back over here, I have a lot of different things, culturally, different culture items that are up on my bookshelves and shelves and stuff like that. There we go. And so now I will be at my desk. I will read a few of these things. As a new teacher, my classroom management philosophy is, like I said, still a work in progress. Being new to the teaching field, and as well as the special education area. So my classroom management philosophy is establishing a warm, inviting, and safe environment for my students. I want to create opportunities for meaningful academic learning. This environment fosters social and emotional growth, reducing negative behaviors, and increases lesson time. I want my students to feel heard, supported, and respected, to build relationships where respect is given and received from teacher to student and student to teacher. I want to give strategies to my students that guide them to have positive behaviors. I want to foster student engagement and secure their cooperation to teach and learn. The foundation for all of this is to build relationships with my students and their families, as we are all working to support their children to be successful. And my mantra was, everyone has a chance to make a difference. And so, and then I had posted expectations and, well, my roles. And as my advisor, which is my boss, the principal, she came in and filled out the form for me. And we talked about, even though that the poster had like 10 roles on it, it might be a little bit too much, especially being in the elementary setting. So that's something that we'll be looking over and maybe combining some of them up. The behavior management plan and classroom rules are posted on a board near the entryway. I just expect the kids to come into my classroom quietly, ready to learn. We do get along great. There'll be some times that we'll have some downtime and we'll do some activities and visit, and where I can just kind of get to know and build those relationships with my students. The attention signal, and it's not something that I have to use very often. I don't have a large group in my classroom. I use the attention signal to raise my hand. I say, give me 5, and then they all, as soon as I say give me 5, they raise their hand and they start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's usually silent. But again, I don't have really a problem. There's not a lot of students that I work with in here. I think this would be more of a general education class that that this would need to be implemented in. My expectations during classroom activities: I like my students to be actively engaged during activities and classroom discussions. I ask my students for them to be actively listening to instruction. We use our listening ears. I encourage them to ask questions when they struggle with their work. I expect my students to adhere to our classroom rules, that they know that safety comes first and that there is no bullying in the classroom. I foster an inclusive classroom, and we promote tolerance and acceptance of different background and cultures. Speaking of different background and cultures, for me in my area, we're in a rural area and we don't have a lot of different cultures, but there's a lot of different backgrounds. Like every single kid, we're not the same. We all have different backgrounds. And even though that we might not have a lot of different cultures within my room, it's really neat to listen to their different backgrounds. And just showing respect for each one of us for having those different backgrounds. Transitions in my class are very smooth. They come in, they sit down. I do make sure that restroom breaks and water breaks, or if they bring water bottles in here, that way when I'm teaching, there's less distraction of them going back and forth down the hallway. I also like to help students learn to take charge of their own behavior and be responsible for it. And that's through setting my clear expectations on that. My encouragement procedures, I'm always encouraging these little peanuts. They are like so super cute in here all the time. And so I have some of my signs, and I'm unable to show you some of the posters because I have a lot of student names next to it. But here are a few. Never give up. You can do hard things. Do more what makes you happy. So I'm always encouraging my kids to do the best that they can, and it does fall in under my philosophy. Because I'm a special education teacher, everything that I do is interventions and strategies, reinforcing positive behaviors. We have reward stickers. We hand out suckers. We hand out mints. We rewards on tent time, in the hanging out in the tent, reading, getting to read. We have a student that's working towards a belt buckle right now, but that student has a BIP right now, and it's really important for him to work towards this, and this is actually a principal reward. So just supporting my students. Beginning and ending routines, I'm just going to quickly talk. As the kids come in, they sit down, we do our work. Transitions are easy between the two groups that I have to switch back and forth. I have one group at one table and another group at another table. I had them switching, but that was too much, so then I decided I would switch from table to table. It's going a lot smoother. Transitions between classes, a lot smoother. I walk them to class. We're all in one building, and it's a kind of a small building. Absences, missed work, I don't have a lot of that. Most of probably 99% of my students are around grade level, and so they're doing classroom work. So anything like that, if they need extra support, then I pull them, I work with them, or my aides work with them and help them stay on track. Let's see here. procedures for assigning classwork and homework. Again, my small groups, we are doing an Orton Gillingham reading intervention program across the whole elementary setting. So every class, every teacher has 2 to 3 different groups that they're working with. And we spend 1 full hour every morning, 30 minutes on each group, and we work through. And it is all, I use the teacher's manual, which is scripted. Everything in that is scripted, and their lessons, and we assess, and it's just working out just really wonderful. Again, dealing with late missing assignments, procedures for managing independent work. I do provide support and guidance with the students that need it. I don't direct every aspect of the students' learning. I encourage the students to manage their time effectively. We often set goals, and then they have to decide how to approach their work, which is student autonomy. Students collaborate, use critical thinking skills, and be held accountable for their work. It also gives them a sense of confidence that they can work on their own without constant supervision. My students are better equipped to maximize their learning experiences. My students learn to become self-reliant learners. As a special education teacher, it is my job. I use all sorts of different strategies and interventions to help my students to become successful. I know when my students are becoming successful that it gives me a little bit of sense of pride and joy that I am teaching with fidelity. That is the one thing that my very first college class was a special education teacher, special education class. That professor taught us what fidelity is and how it is implemented, and I feel like I'm working towards making sure that I am teaching with fidelity, because ultimately it's the success of my students that makes me feel that I'm successful in my job. Thank you. And on to the next class.